You settle down. Commence your education about the embodiment, the body, mind, breath, senses, speech, psyche, thought. So breath by breath, proceed for the protocol, the commencements, the sanitizations, educatively do it. You also have, that means you have to probe, investigate, inquire into, and not just get to doing. So perceptions, cognitions, experience that you undergo. And you will be learning through those instruments, cognitive instruments, mental instruments, breath by breath. Initialize the composite collective dynamics, interwoven dynamics. Figure out the various strands, the body, mind, breath, senses, speech, psyche, consciousness, awareness. Because your object of learning is within. So not only the senses are internalized, which is usually understood as pratyahar, but even the organs of body are internalized. Anatomical organs, physiological organs, psychomental organs, temporal cerebral organs, organs of thought, speech, perceptions, cognitions. They all are internalized. And they work within each other, which is internal community activity. They work for each other, work by each other, work on each other. The real body condition comes in yoga. So they all work for each other. All organs of body, mind, psyche are a family within, a society within, a community within. So internal family order, social order, community order will be fading in. So flush out the temporality, personal gravities, individual gravities with your exhalations. Flush out the brain and brawn, flush out the senses, flush out the organs. So understand their kriyas when you have to flush out the mundane parasites. The silent utterance of Om. Find out why it has been mentioned by the tradition, by the legacy, by the parampara. What does it mean and in what way it is related to one's own embodiment? Oh. 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 योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचा बलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनाम् पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि आबाहुपुरुषाकारम् शङ्खचक्रासिधारिणम् सहस्रशिरसं श्वेतम् प्रणमामि पतञ्जलिम् हरिः ओम् bow your head down to the heart and surrender the exhalations. Drop the palm side. Open the eyes. All of you settle down in Supta Baddha Kodasana of any kind. If you are clashing with a neighbor, you can turn around. Not that everyone should hit the platform. You can turn around and lie down so that you have your space and you give the space. Supta Baddha Kodasana. And meanwhile, I will be explaining you something as a part of education. So maybe nothing under the back or something under the back or anything under the back that you want. Supta Baddha Kodasana, adjust up or down, turn around so that you don't clash with the neighbor. And figure out what is the commencement here. You have been told about it, sanitizations, protocol, etc., etc. Where prominently there is profound exhalation to flush out mundanity, worldliness, empiricism, temporality, the personal gravities, the individualistic gravities. The identity organ should be taken to dressing table. The identity organ should be taken to a dressing table and you have to do the dressing so that you are not what you think about you. That you are a man, woman, young, old, strong, weak, that you have a caste, class, creed, gender, status, stature, etc., etc. So you have to go at the dressing table of very identity in you, which you call as I or me. This is me. Now that should not have these indentations. These are all indentations from spiritual perspective, such as caste, creed, gender, genetic background, genealogical background, age, condition, state. They are called upadhis in the science and philosophy of yoga. Delimitation. They make you limited. Like you are a man, woman, young, old, strong, weak, stupid, intelligent, healthy, unhealthy, virtuous, vicious, etc., etc., or oriental, occidental. So all those things should be effaced. So you have to get to the dressing table, and rather than being an individual, you have to see that you are slowly going for cosmicalization, flaking all delimitations. Like snake flakes the skin. You have to flake all those upadhi delimitations such as caste, class, creed, gender, status, stature, etc., 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 ethnicity. So profound exhalations in the brain and brawn, profound exhalations in Panchavayu regions, profound exhalations in spot locations of each location, such as eyes and ears and mouth part, throat part, brain part, spot locations in locations. Flush them out with your exhalations. Like you take bath in the mornings. The bath is taken for entire body, physical body from top to bottom. We attend to wash and clean and cleanse all parts of the body in a bathroom while taking a bath. Similarly, internally, you have to see that you wash out, wash away the delimitations which are for your identity organ. And meanwhile, let me explain you what I intended to explain you today. So continue this process on your own. You can revisit any location or spot location. It's not that you have to pour only one mug on a location and proceed to another location. Like in a bathroom, you will pour so many mugs of water on each location. Similarly, recycle. Stay there. Anyway, let's proceed, which is a prologue and has educative value. We all know yoga is philosophy, yoga is a science. I don't know how many of you know that yoga is a technology as well. Embodiment technology, yoga technology. It's a combination of technology. Now, in our formative periods, we know we have to do a lot. We have to do all those things from moral, ethical disciplines to yama, niyamas to asana, pranayam, japa. We have to do it. And that is how it happens. In the run up to yoga, that we identify there is much to do. I have to become quiet. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to mobilize this. And that's how our yoga commences, which depends upon what one can do, what you can do, what I should do, what I can do, etc., etc. But when it is also technology, when it is technology, it is not important what the man does. In technology, it is important what the machine does. So we marvel at what machine does when there is a technological upgradation. So we marvel at the machine, the wonders that it does. It's not that man does whatever is turned out. Machine does whatever is turned out. That is what is the technology. And the technology evolves, gets upgraded, like you know the idea about G1, G2, G3, G4, G5, etc. All those generations from rudimentary, primeval generation. There are so many generations in technology. And the more technology evolves, man has to do very little. And that apparatus, that machine, or that device that marvelous thing. Similarly, yoga is a technology. This is not man-made technology. It is not a mechanical machine. It is a cosmic machine. That's the difference. Mechanical machines are made by man, human intelligence, human skill, develop mechanical machines. But this is a cosmic machine, and it is aptly described as our body is a yantra. Body is a mandala. Our embodiment is mandala, is a yantra, for which you cannot have English translations. They will be misleading. So yoga is based on this, that embodiment is a marvelous yantra. Let me not call it machine, because machine means it is man-made. But it is a machine which is nature-made, God-made, divinity-made, if you want to call it a machine. And that is yantra. And then, being a technology, the technology turns out all that is turned out. The fact of the matter is the man doesn't turn out what is turned out by technology. Technology turns out and it's a marvel. So we know that today's gadgets, instruments, apparatuses such as computer, and that we marvel at what it does. But then that is a man-made machine. And then we marvel at what computer does. So man turns out a machine so that what man cannot do, it can do. In what time the man cannot do, it will do that in that time. Man might take hours and hours, days and days, weeks and weeks, months and months. The technology doesn't take that much time. So we marvel at the machines of our time. So this embodiment is called yantra by age-old wisdom. It is also mandala. That means it turns out on its own. So there are aspects in yoga where you don't have to do, the yoga itself does. That's why there is a mention, yoga pravartate. Yoga turns out yoga. You don't turn out yoga. You cannot turn out yoga. Yoga turns out yoga. Because in that case, our embodiment becomes a mandala, becomes a yantra, becomes a marvel, and therefore it starts turning out all those effects, which are said to be yoga turning out those effects. So we are trying to get little understanding as to how the embodiment itself, when it is cosmicalized, as I said, you are going to at the dressing table and cosmicalizing it so that you are not of individual and a personal entity. So that all has to be flaked. That also has to be set aside, weeded out, and we will have to cosmicalize. That is the preparatory. That is called preparatory. So your identity as man, woman, young, old, ethnicity, Occidental, Oriental, healthy, unhealthy, strong, weak, man, woman, young, old, etc. doesn't stay. It all evaporates. Now today we are trying to get little idea of that aspect where you don't do it, it does. They do. Now slowly all of you let go and come up. So I gave little theoretical explanation of what yoga is. Otherwise, as a beginner, we think yoga has to be done by us. Yoga has to be done by me. Your yoga you have to do. My yoga I have to do. While here, this is the technology where you don't have to do so many things. Like today, we have technology called robotics. Do you do everything that what is turned out by a robot? So we today marvel that technology that we don't have to do. And now we are in an era that we have experienced this. Your forefather did not experience what you are able to experience. Technology does so many things. There, the technology is turned out by a man, human being. Here, this technology is not turned out by you and me. It is turned out by the archetypal mind. For you to understand, it is the divine mind who generates the creation. That's called archetypal mind. While computer, laptop, this and that, smartphones, man turns out. They don't fall from the heavens. A laptop doesn't, or the palm top tablet doesn't fall from heavens. Man turns out. Cars, machines, man turns out. But this is inherently turned out by the embodiment, whereby the embodiment becomes yantra. This concept is there in our intriguing philosophy, religion, technology, yantra, tantra, mantra. So I will be trying to give you little understanding about that you don't have to do it, they do it. When you are properly prepared, well prepared, they start doing it. Like today, you are aware of an aircraft. You know that the pilot flies the aircraft, but sometimes there is auto mode. You know that. Is that right? So the aircraft flies on auto mode. Similarly, in yoga, that is there. What you do is very meager, and what they do is enormous. It should be reckoned with as to what they do and not what you do. What you do is absolutely meager. So I'll be venturing to put it across and make you get a feel of it, or at least that will appear on the horizon if you don't even experience actually. So what is going to follow is not something you do. If you do, it is very little, very meager, very nominal. And what they do is quite significant. They who come together in a well prepared state, they all work, they co-mingle, gel together, and turn out a compound which is a marvelous substance which actualizes everything. So today is a pranayam class. So we will go for something which is pranayam on auto mode, not manual mode, auto mode. Let me see how far I succeed. It's I am testing myself. I am not testing you. So all of you will lie down in Shavasana with your favorite way of bolster under the back. Lie down in Shavasana. Turn around, as I said, if you feel that you don't have sufficient space. You can also go up and down. Your feet need not be on the mat necessarily. Okay. Lie down. And again, go for getting prepared. Shortlist the process and shorten the process, because I won't give you a long time, which I gave you in Baddha Konasana, because I wanted to explain you something that is underlying what I'm going to teach. I said Shavasana. I did not say Baddha Konasana. Lie down in Shavasana, I said, and bolster under the back. Bolster under the back. Spine-wise bolster under the back. Now settle down. So flush out the brawn and brain, flush out the body, mind, senses, so that they become gellable matters. Body matter, mind matter, sense matter, thought matter, perceptive, cognitive, all those aspects will gel together. They will work in a combination. So all those strands will turn out intertwined dynamics. All those strands of body system, breath system, mind system, perceptive system, cognitive system, awareness system, sensitivity system, thought system, speech system, etc., etc. All those strands will turn out intertwined dynamics. Now, in a short while from now, we are going to go for the Ujjayi inhalations. Ujjayi inhalations can be done in stages, ripples, waves, etc. It need not be Tailadhara inhalation or like the flow of oil. It can, because I want it to be thin, fine, soft, delicate. So the pulsations, arterial pulsations, the respiratory pulsation will be vibrating your breath because it is rarefied. Now we are going to do that Ujjayi inhalation. So which will be slow, soft, thin, fine, gentle, and to the extent possible deep as well. So that can be done either in Ujjayi process. If you feel it is more convenient to do little spiraloma process with tiny intermittent exhalation, you can perhaps have greater volume and better quality of inhalation as well. Now, all of you will be voluntarily doing the previous exhalation. I've told you to do Viloma, inhalative Viloma. So that will be something like auto mode. But the previous exhalation will be on manual mode. You'll have to do that manually. And then I want you to experience on auto mode how your Ujjayi is going to be variegated. So all of you will be exhaling the previous exhalation. You are not supposed to start still because my instructions are not over. Previous exhalation, you will voluntarily exhale profound, voluntarily exhale little thicker perhaps, or whatever is convenient, but you will voluntarily exhale with silent utterance of L, L-A. It is a Prithvi Swara, one of the Prithvi Swara. L, L, L. So exhale L, L, L. Don't put on a siren. L, then it becomes A. So L, 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 and then start your inhalation. The inhalation should happen after your voluntary exhalation. I want your inhalation to happen. What you will do is you will see that it is slow, soft, thin, fine, rarefied. So there is also voluntary aspect in that Ujjayi inhalation that you are doing. So that's only with respect to volume and quality, volume and velocity that you will handle. But watch how the inhalation is taking place, which is the source of inhalation, which is the course of inhalation, and which is the mouth of inhalation, which is the commencement of inhalation, and then which is the flow of inhalation, seepage of inhalation, and which is the mouth of inhalation, end of inhalation. Where does it happen? Do the mapping of it. Do the mapping of it. So exhale, l. I have not said that for inhalation. Don't have silent sound form for inhalation. Just inhale. Just inhale. Shwasayamic inhalation. Only use the sound form for exhalation, preceding exhalation, which is l, and then just start inhaling. Either it can be a sustained inhalation or could be wavy because it has to be fine, super fine, thin, rarefied. And I want you to do the mapping of inhalation. How is the mapping of inhalation? What is the flow? What is the seepage? How it is happening? And from where it is starting, how it is flowing like a river. Like a river has a source, course, and mouth. So try to figure out the source of your Ujjayi inhalation, course of your Ujjayi inhalation, and the mouth of your Ujjayi inhalation. Continue that. If you need a couple of recovery cycles, you can do it. But then exhale with L, inhale without L. Just inhale Shwasayamic. And just do the mapping of it. Watch it. How does it go by itself? So that will be on almost auto mode, except for the fact that you are going to condition it volume and velocity, that you are going to make it slower and thinner and deeper. That is your voluntary aspect. But rest of the things are happening, and try to understand how it is happening, what is happening, how it is happening, what as a consequence it is happening. What is the consequence of it? The river flowing, the river of Ujjayi inhalation flowing, could be spiraloma as well. So quality and quantity is in your hands voluntarily. Rest, its flow, its course is not done voluntarily. It is as a response to your exhalation, which was done with L. So try to have reading in whatever couple of cycles are allocated during the time that I allow. Try to do the mapping. Continue doing that, and meanwhile listen to the next. Don't start until I tell you. You just listen as an input. The next one is going to be the exhalation with H, H-A. Don't do it. And watch your Ujjayi inhalation. Any difference in its flow? Is it a different river? Is it a different mapping for it? Now, when your cycle is over, then you go for the second module. I have completed my articulation specification. So instead of L, you will utter H, and then watch the Ujjayi on auto mode. Is it going differently? seepage, flow age, course. Where does it start? Where does it start? Where does it end? Only exhale her. Having exhaled her, then understand the auto mode. Is there any difference? You are only handling voluntary inhalation, which has volume, and velocity, which you are handling. But the rest of the things, the source, course, mouth, seepage, flow age, and the graphics of it, configuration of it, is not driven by you. You are not navigating it. So what's the difference between the first one, which was le exhalation, second one, which is a her exhalation, her HA? Any change, any difference? Now in this inhalation compared to earlier one. So the vacha is doing it because you are silently uttering the sound form. And then see how your vachik kriya, the oral act of silent speech, modifies your ujjayi inhalation. Her for exhalation only. Now, because of that, I want you to identify that the source of river is different than where the location of source of river in the first module. Now I will allow you to juxtapose and compare. If you exhale le, from where does your inhalation start? In the subsequent cycle, following cycle, if you exhale her, are you able to identify it is starting at a different spot or different location? So if it starts at a different location, it has a different course and it has a different mouth. So I'm giving this time for you to have comparison as well. Le exhalation followed by ujjayi, her exhalation followed by ujjayi. Are you able to figure out that the starting point is different for your ujjayi inhalation? And therefore the course is different and therefore the mouth is different. So I want you to figure out the difference between the module 1 and module 2 of your ujjayi inhalation. Now I'll give you a clue here. If you exhale with her, 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 your inhalation starts from udanic region. If you exhale your inhalation starts from apanic region. That is lower trunk. Udanic means the head, brain, throat part. I've given a clue. You testify it, verify it. You did not do it, it did it. They did it. So once you have the comparison and when you say, yes, there is a difference, stick to her exhalation. Then you don't have to bring the le exhalation if you are convinced that, yes, this is a different river. Then you can stick to her. But for you to figure out difference between module 1 and module 2, I allowed you to have juxtaposition of the two. Once you feel, yes, it is different, then don't bring the le at all. Continue with her. Continue with her. That's the second module. You can have a couple of recovery cycles, mechanical cycles in between. If you are compromising with the quality of your Ujjayi inhalation. It should be fine and super fine. So if that is compromised, you can have few mechanical cycles, recovery cycles, and then embark upon the second module. The exhalation, exhalation, followed by Ujjayi inhalation. Now listen to the third one, third module. Until that, continue. Until I signal, don't embark upon it. Having heard, don't embark. Let me complete my articulation. The third module is that for exhalation, you will silently utter yeah, 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 like as in yesterday, yeah, as in yesterday. Phonetically, the first letter, yesterday, year. And then launch your inhalation, Ujjayi inhalation. This will start somewhere in the thoracic region. I have already given the clue. Now you can embark upon it. So it's another river originating from chest region, and then find out how does it flow and what is its course and what is it, where is its tailpiece, that is where is its mouth. Year, silent utterance of year for previous exhalation. So I've already given the clue. With year exhalation, your Ujjayi will start in the thoracic cavity. That will be origination of the river of the Ujjayi inhalation. Watch the course. Do the mapping of it. You do the mapping of it. Is it different? You did not effect the difference. The Vachik Kriya and the composite collective dynamic changed everything. So the PPP changed, PPC changed. There is a third module. So see that it is soothing, benevolent, quiet, cospicalizing your embodiment, cospicalizing the very identity. Couple of recovery cycles in case you are compromised with the quality of your Ujjayi. So back home, you can go for comparisons, more vivid, clear comparisons for the sake of study. This is the third module that we have embarked upon. So back home, you can do the homework and figure out how they are different. Now I mentioned the fourth module. Listen carefully. Just listen, continue what you are doing. In the fourth module, your exhalation will have a soundtrack of R. R as in rubber. R as in rust. R. And then watch. This will somewhere start in the diaphragmatic vicinity. Now you can embark upon it. You can now take it up. So the R exhalation followed by Ujjayi inhalation, which is Shwasayamik. For inhalation, you are not using the sound form. You are using the sound form only for previous exhalation. Now find out where is the origin of the river. Where is the source of river? What is the course of river? All that is happening on auto mode. They do it. They do it. Body system, breath system, mind system, thought system, speech system. They are doing it. You are just watching. Understand this aspect of yoga where you are a watcher. You are merely watcher. You are not a doer. You are only doer for that exhalation. And here you are meagerly doer to ensure the quality of your inhalation, which is thin, fine, soft, rarefied, gentle, and deep as well. Or you can do in spiral mode, etc. So voluntary contribution is meager. And then the inhalation is taking place on auto mode. Now, is it indeed the fourth module? So this will somewhere start in the upper belly, head of the abdomen. Inhalation will start in the head of the abdomen, below your rib cage. Because it is R, it is Manipuraka location. It is Agni. It is Swara of Agni Tattva, Tej Tattva. Chemically, these are all chemically different rivers, understand? It is not all the rivers of H2O, all rivers of water. We know that. But these are different rivers of different chemicals. One was Prithviswara, second was Akashwara, then came the Vayuswara. Now this is Tejaswara. So these are different swaras in the science of yoga, technology of yoga. So you have to watch the source of river, course of river, and mouth of river of your Ujjayi inhalation. So it has its own course. It has its own itinerary. It has its own route, R-O-U-T-E route. So all these Ujjayi inhalations had different routes, R-O-U-T-E routes, paths, marga. All these inhalations had different marga, different path, different routes. Figure it out. You did not do it. They did it. They are doing it. You are not doing it. So this is the fourth module. Now the last and final module, which is chemically of up tattva. Up tattva, element of water. Therefore, you will exhale V as in wonder, V as in wonderful. The first phonetic sound of these words, V. And now, without sound form, the inhalation. So this will start little below where R started, or much below where the R started, previous one started, but little above from where the L started, the first one. So that is Swadhisthana region. Swadhisthana region, locus of Aap Tattva, element of water, locus of element of water. And therefore, it will have different origin, course, source. Is there something that you should appreciate the marvel of this yantra, of this, the cosmic machine, God-made machine, machine of archetypal mind? It is not really machine, therefore. It is yantra, it is mandala. So your role is to watch. Your role is to sense. Your role is not to do it, except that you are handling the quality of your inhalation. Rest of the things are on auto mode. They will do it. I want to have little taste of this because I've been speaking that there is auto mode in yoga. Yoga, yoga pravartate. Yoga turns out yoga. You don't turn out yoga. You might do yoga, but yoga is not turned out by you. Yoga turns out yoga. That is why that theorem, yogat yoga pravartate. This is the last fifth mode. Back home, you compare. L, H, L, Y, L, R, L, W. So you have to do these comparisons back home. How they mutually differ. Now let go for a while after you finish it. Then you can slowly come up. Don't be hastening. Don't jerk. Don't jolt. That baby in you should be sleeping. It should not be disturbed. And you will move your body. Come up. So back home, try to do it. If you did not really cognize the differentiations, although I gave little clue. Now you did not do what was being done. Do you understand? You did not do what was being done. Who did? They did. What is they? The technology. The technology of yoga. It did. To understand how much the previous exhalation was a major governor, designer of your inhalation, which was the pranayam. You are supposed to do ujjayi inhalation. But how significantly the previous exhalation contributed, it became the governor, it became the designer, and it became the operator. Whereas in analog, you think if it is inhalative pranayam, you have to do the inhalative pranayam. If it is exhalative pranayam, you have to do the exhalative pranayam. I'm giving you certain revelations that here you did the exhalation voluntarily. The previous exhalation was done voluntarily, and although it was inhalative pranayam, you did not do. You were supposed to be a watcher. You are supposed to be observer. You are supposed to be reader. You are supposed to read the river, watch the river, observe the river, and map the river. You did not formulate the river. Do you get it? You did not formulate the river. The river was there and you are watching the river, you are mapping the river, you are reading the river. So technically, the technology of it, which is not so important thing for you to make note of. These were 5 swaras of 5 tattvas. So the first one we did was Prithvi. The second one that we did was Akash because I wanted to have clear-cut distinction. Then I came to Vayu. Then I came to Tej and then I came to Apt. So that was the order. Prithvi, Akash, Vayu, Tej, Aap. Now, if it is analog class, teacher will explain you slowly inhale because it is relative pranayama. Tender, soft inhalation. Inhale from this, inhale from there. Do this while you are inhaling. Soften, slowly deflate. So inhalation will be explained. Is that right? In analog, if it is inhalative pranayama, inhalation is explained. And here I explained you exhalation, which is preceding inhalation. And I said, let the inhalation happen on auto mode. They would do it. I did not tell you, you do it. What you did was meager, that you qualitatively handled the breath and quantitatively you handled the breath. You saw that it is thin, soft, rarefied, vast, delicate, tender, and deep, voluminous. That is all your contribution. The whole river was formulated by them. Combination of the body system, breath system, spearheaded by your breath system. So I did not bring the Vachi Kriya for your inhalation, although it was inhalative pranayama. So that is one way to really get the education about the pranayama formally. Now, in the following part, we will try to have sound form for exhalation as well. So that it doesn't mean that you will do it, the sound form will do it. Now we will again go for, these are actually Pancha Tattva Swaras, the 5 elements, Prithvi, Ap, Tej, Vayu, Akash. So these were the Swaras that we did. Now we are again going to Swaras of 5 elements, but with little difference because there are 10 Swaras of each Tattva. There are 10 notes or 10 Swaras for each Tattva. And now we will be trying to handle the different Swaras and you will experience how these are different rivers. Okay. So you'll once again lie down. You can make little modification if you want to change the posture with support, without support, or specific kind of support, you might take it. Bolster can go even under the buttocks, can go under even your knees, can go under your swastikasana legs. Options are open. Or no support anywhere, just a blanket under the head. Quickly settle down. So I want you to just understand why it is called pranayam, not swasayam. Settle down, straight legs or swastikasana legs, whichever is comfortable for you for a little longer duration. That it doesn't create a problem. Position doesn't create a problem. Settle down. Get connected, collected, internal Wi-Fi connectivity, internal network, because they all have to be doing compositely, collectively. Therefore, you have to have very good internal networking and very good internal connectivity. So that's another aspect of preparatories that you have to have. It's not just flush out temporality, individuality, personality, etc., but also have good connectivity, internal Wi-Fi. So they are all well connected. When they are well connected, they can work cohesively. They can even co-mingle. They can co-mingle and they can have a unified process. To understand here, for exhalation, we are going to stick to one sound form throughout. And for inhalations, we will be changing the vowels. We will be changing the vowels and consonants. So we are going to exhale all the exhalation throughout the next slot. It will be one swara of the Akasha Tattva, which is hum. Hum, which is also Bija Mantra. Hum. So this is not going to change in second module, third module, and following modules. You will exhale hum, although I will change your modules later. But no change will be effected in this previous exhalation, which is going to hum, which is going to be hum. So all of you make a hum exhalation and start inhaling la, 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 la. You read the graphics. You do the mapping of that inhalation. La. Earlier we did la. Now just for you to have little comparison, just one cycle interspersed with hum exhalation and la inhalation. So you will know how the la and la formulate a different river. La will be a narrow river, la will be a wide river. I just want you to have this little experience. So if you know that, stick to la. Stick to la. Once you just taste it, yes, that this is broader. La is broader. Then you stick to la. Hum exhalation, la, 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 inhalation. So take note of the fact, for inhalation, I have suggested a sound form as well. Watch it, map it, read it, sense it, look at the graphics of it, configuration of your inhalations. It has a shape and form, dimensions. Look at the root, R-O-U-T-E, the source, course, mouth. Now in the following cycles, don't start until my articulation is over. You continue with what you are doing. You can do normal cycles whenever you need. Whenever you feel the quality is compromised, you can take a couple of normal cycles, mechanical cycles. The hum exhalation will continue. That's not going to modify. Hum is constant. But the inhalation to follow will be loo, L-O-O-O-O, loo, 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 as in loose. Something is very loose, you say. Not tight, but loose. So, loo, loo, loo. Is it not a different Prithvi river? So it has a different process, purpose, consequence. Although it is a Prithvi river, because this is the another Prithvi swara. Loo, loo, loo. You have to do the mapping, read it, watch it. As if that means you are at a vantage point and you are watching your inhalation. So you have to watch. So understand, this is the pranayam where you are a watcher primarily, not a doer. But in analog, teacher make you do. They tell you, articulate, technically explain, and then you do it accordingly. And therefore, you develop this kind of indoctrination that the pranayam is done. You have to do it. But here you have to watch, sense, feel, observe, read, map. The next module, the vowelization of the Prithvi Swara will change. Hum will remain static for the previous exhalation. That is not going to change. Hum will just stay. But the river will be Lee. L-E-E-E-E. Lee. This will be linear river. La was a broader river. Lee was a linear river. Lu was going posterior wise. So back home, you'll have to carry these observations more profoundly. Lee, 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 Lee. So understand how this Prithvi Swara is working. We are only sticking to Prithvi Swara for our Ujjayi. Lee, Lee. Back home, compare between L and Lee, La and Lee, Lu and Lee. So you'll have better clarity. But just take a taste, the taste of it, that this is a different Prithvi river. Hum exhalation, and I'm sorry, hum exhalation followed by Lee inhalation. So hum exhalation, Lee inhalation. So that's the fourth vowel. So are you seeing change in graphics? Are you seeing change in configurations? We know only body configurations of asanas. In asanas, we don't try to understand configurations of breathing in pranayam. That is very much there. Vowels create different configurations. So see how it is an auto mode. You don't do it, they do it. They are better doers of yoga than you are doer of yoga. And you all depend on your doing yoga, and that's why we are miserable. Now, next, vowelization of the Prithvi, Swara, is lay, like it is in English word lay, L-A-Y, to lay something. The hens lay the eggs. The birds lay the eggs. You lay something somewhere, somehow. Lay, L-A-Y. Now we will go for that. Hum, exhalation. Lay, inhalation. So different Prithvi river. So it's not one Prithvi river, there are several Prithvi rivers. So inhalative pranayam, which is actually mandated, is on auto mode. Exhalation is not mandated pranayam, but then it is done by you. Exhalation is done by you. Inhalation, you allow them to do it. You watch. Exhalation, you do. Inhalation, you watch. You are not the doer, you are the watcher. You are the sensor. You are the reader. You are the feeler. You are the experiencer while they do it. That is the auto mode. That's the another swara, fifth swara of Prithvi. Lay. The next Prithvi swara is going to be Lai. Lai. Lie, not lie. Lie, lie. So hum, exhalations, and lie, 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 inhalation. Watch at the configuration. Watch the shape. Watch the form. Watch the flow. Watch the, read the PPP. Read the PPC. So with such pranayam, you should never take pride that I did today's pranayam. That's how we take pride. Wrong kind of claims. They are doing it. They are doing it. And for you, it is happening. For you, it is happening. You are not doing. Except meager things that you are doing. Lay, lie, lie. So just have the taste samples. So I'm giving you just a taste samples. Back home, you have to allocate more number of cycles and try to have better analysis of it, perceptions of these, cognitions of these, comprehensions of these, understanding of these, reading of these, that you have to do back home. The next vowelization, the swara of Prithvi, is low. L-O. Or as it comes in lower, lower birth, lower part, lower things, low, low, low. Hum, exhalation, low, low exhalation. Watch the source, course, mouth. Watch the kind of flow. Watch the kind of river. Watch the dimension of river, form of river, configuration of river, shape of river, purpose of river, process of river, the mapping of river. How does it flow? Low, so this is the seventh river, seventh Prithvi river. La, la, li, lu, le, lai, lo, seventh. Now you will exhale hum and inhale love, not love, not L-O-V, love, 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 little sharper, love, love. That's the eighth river. So have you identified the eight rivers of Prithvi so far? The eight swaras have eight rivers. Because of the time constraint, we'll have to cut short here. Let go, relax. And you can slowly turn to the sides and come up without jerk, jolt, jerk, etc. Listen, come up. So there are 10 swaras of Prithvi. We tasted 8 swaras. We tasted 8 swaras. There are 10 swaras of Prithvi. Lo, la, li, lu, le, lai, lo, lo, lam, laha. There are 10. Now, for you to really be learning this, because this is what you are learning here. To learn this, you'll have to do the same in different ways of lying down. Don't just lie down in Shavasana every time. Learn it. You'll have to lie down in different Shavasana positions. Bent leg Shavasana, leg over the wall, legs over the chair, Swastikasana legs, with bolster, across along, without bolster, with pranayam pillow, without pranayam pillow, Supta position, Supta Virasana, Supta Baddha Kodasana, Matsyasana, Supta Bhadrasana, Supta Baddha Kodasana. So in different supine positions, they will work differently. The PPP and PPC changes. That's how you will become profound. And that's how you will be tapping the pranic system. Just settling to one position and doing it is not suggested nor recommended. Because that's how you have indoctrination. Shavasana, lie down, either doing Shavasana and lie down and do it, or sit in Padmasana and do it, or sit in Swastikasana and do it, sit in Virasana and do it, sit in any position and do it. If you have taken cognizance and pondered over the previous class, where I told you, I showed you, I made you experience that legs are important organs for your breathing to be modified. This was the last lesson. You might have forgotten. I don't forget. So I took your legs to different positions, and then I made you watch how the breathing in the trunk region, brain and brawn region, is different. So the legs are important conditioners of your breathing. While you have this indoctrination, Shavasana, leg straight and Shavasana. Sitting, Padmasana, if not possible, Swastikasana. If that too is not possible, sit on the chair. You will have to go through various seating positions and lying down positions to become more profound and open up the field to pran, for the pran to work. They will work depending upon your configuration of the body. So they will doodle freely, and therefore your pranayam can become more profound. So give up this idea that lie down in one position and do it. Sit in one position and do it. Come out of this condition. Don't lie down in one position every time and do your pranayam. Don't sit in only one position every time and do your pranayam. Because we are in formative period. If you are a master, then you don't have to do that. But in a formative period, unless you go through formative period, you will never become a master. So in formative period, you have to take recourse to various lying down positions which you know, and I try to put it across often. Various sitting positions that you know, I put it across so many sitting positions. So today, this is only Prithvi river. So there are 10 Prithvi rivers on the Swara basis, then 10 Aap, 10 Tej, 10 Vayu, 10 Akash. Understand the Pran river system in our embodiment. Like you know about river system in your country or in geography. Any country has river systems. So these are all rivers, pranic rivers. And on the lines of Panchatattvas, On the basis of swaras, you have 50 rivers, 50 river systems with the Panchatattvas, swaras. So basically, you need to develop this attitude and aptitude to be a good watcher, sensor, reader in yoga, whereas you're all going for doer in yoga. That is how you got the indoctrination that it has to be done. I should be doer, I should be doing, and I should be done. While you don't take cognizance of the fact that you must be reading. You have to reading, you have to be reading, you have to be sensing, you have to be feeling, you have to be experiencing. You all know theoretically yoga is experiential subject, but you dabble with your doing every time. That is the auto mode. See how high-tech yoga is. When the world believes the Wright brothers invented the first ever aircraft, is the belief of the world. Some Wright brothers, they claim, because it is not true, it is claimed that Wright brothers first flew the aircraft. What was that aircraft? And what is today's aircraft? Was there auto mode in Wright brothers aircraft? It was 100% manual mode. But now today, even in commercial aircraft, you have auto mode. They take responsibility of the 800, 900,000 passengers, and it is on auto mode. So how many years it has taken to come to this technological development in aeronautics, avionics, etc., etc. Today, it's not just aeronautics which turns out aircraft. There are avionics. There are avionics today. Wright brother had no clue of avionics. Who first flew the first ever aircraft. So what has happened to technology in aeronautics? While this technology doesn't have G1, G2, G3, G4, G5, it is God created. The God doesn't have to go for improving. The man has to go on improving the product, improve the engineering of something. The man goes on improving. But archetypal mind, omniscient mind, doesn't have to improve. He did not work in have an R&D and now develop new generation of human beings. It has been the same. Embodiment has been the same from time immemorial. To understand the built-in technology, it is all-time technology. Today, we don't have any technology which is all-time technology. It goes on changing, sometimes within a year, sometimes year by year, sometimes decades by decades, centuries by centuries, millennia by millennia. Man-made things will be changing. This doesn't need any change. Archetypal mind is omniscient mind. It doesn't go and work in R&D, research and development. Anyway, I don't know how far I succeeded. I wanted you to understand how much auto mode is there. So here is the opportunity that you have to be a watcher, sensor, experiencer, knower, reader rather than doer. So essential yoga is all auto mode. You have to do very little, very nominal, very trivial. It really doesn't have caliber of significant. Nominal. It is very nominal. The more you are graduated in yoga, it becomes more and more nominal and nominal and nominal. So because of the sound forms, the vowels that we used or the prithvi, because you use the sound forms, that is why it is called pranayam and not shvasayam. Anyway, back home, note down, inscribe on your mind that you will do lying down in different possible positions, not just one position. Different supine asanas, different forms of shavasanas. Similarly, in case if you are doing seated, in different seated, don't be dogmatic. I can do Padmasana, I will always do pranayam in Padmasana. That is for yogis. For yogis, the Padmasana will do all wonders. For you, the Padmasana only give you cramps and pins and needles. Is that right? If you stay in your Padmasana, what pins and needles? You have to be yogi. Then yogi does all everything is Padmasana. Why? Padmasana is not because you cross the legs. It is called Padmasana because you access the Padmas. You access the lotuses. There are 6 lotuses. Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipuraka, Swadhisthana, Anahata, and Ajna. It's not because you cross your legs. That is something which is apparent and obvious. It is called Padmasana because then most of your Padmasana is like a, if you take it as a lotus, more often it is rotten lotus rather than a fresh lotus. How will you get anything by rotten lotus? At least it should be a fresh lotus. What is the chance that you will straight away, right away get fresh lotus? It is not that lotus because all the chakras are called padmas. All the chakras are called lotuses. That is why the nomenclature to it, because it gets gives best access to chakras for a yogi, not for you and me. Otherwise, it is our obsession. I can do Padmasana, I will always do Padmasana. You can only do Padmasana. It is not doing anything to the Padmas within you. It is doing nothing for your lotuses within you. You have 6 lotuses there. 4 petals, 6 petals, 10 petaled. All those lotuses are there. They do nothing for it. Many of you do not know those petals also. In all, there are 50 petals to all the Shat Chakra lotuses. They total to 50. 50. While your Padmasana only 2 petals, right foot, left foot. Anyway, I'm sorry the time is up. So for education, you require patience. You have to have the time allocation, energy allocation, basically priority allocations. Now that's the one which is missing, and therefore we don't get other priorities in place. You have to allocate time, you have to allocate energy. Now why you don't have time? Why is it that you don't have energy? You don't have priorities. So somewhere you have to see that you develop priority to be working with patience, not doing time-bound program. That is beginner's hierarchy, or it is run up to yoga. I do every day. I will do every day 20 minutes pranayama. I will do every day 40 minutes pranayama. This is run up to yoga. And we people who are engaged in worldliness, mundanity, we can only allocate time. I have no time more than 20 minutes for pranayama. I don't have time more than 1 hour for asanas. Why? We are engaged in mundanity. That's why I said at least keep your holiday as a yoga day. Otherwise, you all have commitment from morning to evening commitment. Weekdays commitments. Morning to evening, family commitments, professional commitments, social commitments. So many commitments. So there are no time. So at least on holidays when you don't have a schedule, you don't say on holidays I get up, I will be waking up at 6 o'clock. You linger on the bed. It is 6, 7, 8, 8:30, 9, and you wake up at 10 o'clock. You have the freedom. So at least on holidays, see that these no time problem doesn't come. So at least once in a week you get holidays. These days you get twice a week, twice a day, twice a week holidays. Saturday, Sunday, weekend holidays. This is the present culture. Let the holidays become holy days for your yoga. While on holidays, it's a holiday for yoga also. Or only for yoga holiday. There is no yoga. I know yoga today, I have holiday. Other days, spiritedly you do. Monday to Friday, spiritedly. Saturday, Sunday, holiday. Holiday for yoga. And no holiday for being licentiate. Anyway. If the class is worthwhile, I thank you and thank God. Otherwise, I wish you better luck next time. Namaskar. Thank you. So put everything back.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Guruji.
Pranam, sir.
Pranam.
Pranam,
Pranam.
साष्टांग
Thank you,
नमस्कारम
sir.
गुरुजी साष्टांग नमस्कारम
Namaskar.
Pranam,
Namaskar.
sir. Pranam, sir.
Namaskar. Pranam.
Thank you,
Pranam.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
प्रशांत जी प्रणाम
Thank you.
Thank you,
Pranam.
Prashant.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Pranam. Pranam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
कोचिंग
Okay, all of you.
सांगणार आहे. नंबर 1 आहे
Okay.
जेवणानंतर एक छोटा वेलदोळा खाल्ला की गॅस अपचन आणि भारीपणा कमी होतो. नंबर